So the big first step, and really the big question is, how do I start this process? How do I get this whole thing moving, right? This is some supposedly like ancient evolutionary energy that's all humans have, and you're trying to raise this, and as you raise it, it's going to change your whole makeup. It's going to change you in like some fundamental way. There's all this mysticism behind it, right? How? How do you even go about starting something like that? So that was my first question. Looking around at different things, the thing that kept kind of popping out was Nadi. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm probably messing that up. But like the energy channels, a lot of my focus has been on the chakras and balancing it out, cleaning them out, like opening them, making sure that's all right. But I hadn't really thought or like really put any attention on the actual pathways for that energy. So I was like, all right, that'll be a good place to start. Let me try that. So I'm at work and I'm like, let me try to tap in and see if I can see these things. Couldn't do it, at least at first. But that's kind of on me. I was doing it in between like work tasks, and I thought it would just be a quick thing. Um, Psychic abilities may be a little spoiled. I got very used to just being able to close my eyes and just like think of something, put my focus in a general direction, and just be able to pick up on an energy and understand what's happening. But with this and with certain things, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to be in a state to really be able to tune in and see this. So that's what I did. I started to meditate and try to meditate slow. So I started doing like a chakra cleanse, going up the different chakra points for the main ones, with like affirmations and trying to make sure they're cleansed and doing all that. And by the time I got to like the higher ones, like the third eye chakra, the crown chakra, that's when I started to get into that state where like your mind starts to almost dream, and then you come back to what you're doing, like, oh, right, I'm meditating, and you start breathing again and just trying to be present. And once I was in that like almost dream state, when I came back, I was like, all right, we're there. We can do this now. Let's do it. So I jumped back in, tried to meditate with the intention of trying to see these pathways, these nadis. And so what I noticed was I saw three different paths. And the first one was this green path that showed up almost like a serpent. It started at my solar plexus chakra and then worked its way up, winding around my chakras, but not touching any of them, not intersecting with any of them. And then it went all the way up to my crown chakra, and that's where it terminated. That's where, like, I guess the head bit, or like, for me, I don't know why it was showing up like snakes, but for me, it was showing up like snakes. So this green snake was like biting onto my crown chakra. I also saw another channel that was a like reddish pink snake that was coming out of my crown chakra. Now this one intersected my third eye chakra, came down, intersected my heart, and then came down and terminated at my sacral chakra, and I saw it like lashed on there. Now, through my research, I noticed like there are these three main ones that people use when they're referring to these channels, like the masculine, the feminine energy channels, and then the main one, which is supposed to be balanced. So I don't know why I saw the like quote unquote feminine energy intersecting the chakras, because from everything I've noticed from all these other sources, it doesn't really look like it's supposed to do that, but that's what I saw. I'm sure it'll make sense to me moving forward or at some point. And then I tuned in to try to see that central channel, and that's when it got really cool, really fascinating. So I have my journal because I tend to write everything down because I will forget if I don't write it down. So I wrote down what I actually saw. So it looked something like this. You had this one main channel that ran up, and there were these individual nodes. There were 7 of them lining up with like the 7 main chakras. And then as it went up, there were these like electric arcs that were running up. And so I thought that was really cool because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect to see anything. There was part of me that was like, what if Kundalini is not really real? What if it's just one of these other like kind of, I don't want to say BS because it is a whole culture and tradition, but like, you know how it is when you're looking and you're exploring in all these different avenues and different traditions and whatnot. Just because something's old doesn't mean it's true and doesn't mean it's real. So I had gotten a little like, but then actually seeing these things was like, oh, so it's real. Like there's something here. There's something to it. But yeah, so that was really cool to see that main channel. For me, there was a break at the heart chakra space, and so I spent like a couple days after that trying to throw some affirmations at it to see like where is the issue, how do I like connect. Found the issue, worked through it, and then got it like lined up so that the whole channel was clear and moving forward. Now, when I saw this main channel and I saw like the nodes along it that represented the chakras, the main channel looked like white with a bluish tint on the outside, but the actual channels looked white. But yeah, so I was like, all right, I see the channel. Let me look at where this kundalini is supposed to start. So it's supposed to start at like your root chakra, right? So I look down and I try to like really envision my root chakra to see, okay, can I see what's supposed to happen here? Is there a way to like look at it with a specific lens to kind of gauge how I'm supposed to do this? How can I bring it up? Like what's going on? And so I looked at my root chakra, but this time with the intent to specifically see like kundalini energy. And so I saw it as a rainbow, but I need to explain what that means. So when I look at my chakras, every once in a while, it helps me to envision it with their like traditional colors that people use, like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. But I know that's not how they really are, and a lot of times I just see them as like glowing orbs along my, I guess, channel, the main channel. So this time I was looking at that root chakra without a color, and I saw this like rainbow light like kind of swirling around down there. And think of like the Bifrost Bridge from the Thor movies. It looked just like that. um and it tied in and it reminded me of a vision I had about a year ago. And it's gonna sound fake, it's gonna sound so fake, and I know it's gonna sound fake, but bear with me. It was at a really like rough point in my life. And I had gotten this vision, and in the vision, this spirit like space whale type dude named Carmax had shown me the path that my life would take. There was this green path, there was this golden path, and then after that there was this rainbow path. And then after that there was like some kind of color I couldn't perceive. But I had done a lot of stuff that I could connect to like those paths so far. And I've been thinking, okay, I'm in my golden path now, but where's the rainbow path? Like, what is that? How does that manifest? And so when I looked down at that root chakra and saw that like rainbow color spiraling in it, I was like, oh, okay, so this is the thing that I'm supposed to take. This kind of feels like confirmation, like, okay, this is real. Start on doing this now. This is your time to go on that path. So for me, I know it sounds so crazy. A lot of the stuff that I've seen and that I've encountered and that I've dealt with sound crazy. It's hard for me to believe half the time, and it happened to me. So if you don't like believe some of the stuff I'm saying, if you don't like believe the visions I've had and whatnot, I'm not offended. It's okay. Trust me. If you want to just view all of this as fantasy and whimsy, and that helps you, be my guest. Does not hurt my feelings in the least. Beyond that, I'm very personally an advocate for be very skeptical of anything you haven't experienced yourself. Because again, there is a lot of exaggeration, a lot of like twisting of different facts and different things in spiritual communities and in this new age like awakening of things. So it's healthy to be skeptical of anything that had happened to you, because it helps you from getting played, from scam artists and like bad faith actors. But yeah, so there I was. I can see like the path. I can see where I need to start. The question still remains, how? How do I initiate it? How do I start getting it raised? How do I rise it? How do I raise it? How do I raise it up and get it through my chakras to get things moving, right? So that was my big question. So to get an answer to the question, I decided to do like a little quick reading for myself with the cards. So this would be this past Wednesday, right before work. I was sitting there, pulled the card, got the High Priestess. And now when I looked into it, this is going to take another detour. So for me, the way I do readings, I will pick some cards and whatnot, but the reading and the message won't be what the cards traditionally are. For me, I'll like hold on to the card and I will tune into the energy, and the card will play a scene for me, or I'll get a specific kind of image, or I'll get like a specific kind of sound. Something will happen to it, and that'll be my message. So I got the High Priestess, and then I tuned into the energy, and I saw the scene kind of match up with what I had seen with the channels. So I saw the two pillars represented the two energy channels, and then the high priestess herself represented the main channel. And then she got up, she unfurled what like looked like a newspaper, looked kind of like a tablet, something. But I heard her say, "This isn't something you can see. You have to hear." And so I was like, "Okay, that's new. What do you mean? What do I have to hear?" And then I started hearing this sound. It wasn't like a melody. It was more like a vibration. Like think of your phone vibrating, and you can hear it. It sounds like that, like that kind of sound. But it felt very vibrant and it felt deep. So I tried to think maybe humming, that might work. Am I supposed to hum this sound? Am I supposed to repeat this sound? So I tried that for a little bit, tried seeing if I can mimic some sound that was similar to it, see if that did anything. Got nothing. So I was like, all right, let me get some clarity. Is this a sound I'm supposed to be making, or is this a sound I'm supposed to be listening to? And then I had got the Five of Pentacles, and when I looked into the glass framework, I saw something behind like the mosaic, like tapping onto the mosaic, and as it moved its finger, I heard that vibration again, that like kind of sound, and the mosaic kind of turned into like a rainbow type deal. So I was like, okay, that's pretty clear to me. I'm supposed to be listening to whatever energy this is that I'm supposed to be bringing up, this quote unquote kundalini energy. So I said, all right, I know what I'm supposed to be listening to, but I don't really know how exactly I'm going to listen to it. I don't really know what I'm trying to listen for. So I was like, let me kind of get deeper again. Let me change up the state I'm in. So for me, when I'm trying to get deeper inside of myself, like inside of my chakras or inside of my system, I try to count down from 10, and then I envision myself climbing down like a ladder or a staircase or something deeper into my energy, into myself. So that's what I did. I sat there, started at 10, and worked my way down and tried to get into that root chakra space. And for me, usually when I do this kind of meditation, I go to my root chakra, I arrive in a place that looks like a red room. And that helps me kind of envision and work on it and do what I need to do, see what's happening. If it's different, it shows me why it's different, what's like afflicting it. So I get down there and it's pitch black. And so I'm like, okay, this is new. This is different. This isn't my root chakra, I don't think. But this is where we're at now. So let's see if we can tune in and just hear something. So I'm sitting there. I'm trying to pick up a sound. And I start to hear like another vibration kind of, but not like a strong vibration type deal, more of like a beat. I'm starting to hear like almost like a drum. So I hear that. And then I'm seeing these really dim, really pale, really faint lights like flickering on here and there, like underneath wherever I'm standing. So I'm like, okay, this is new. This is different. Maybe this is like wherever this energy is supposed to be. So I'm just sitting there listening to the beat. And I feel like this really overpowering need to like match the beat. So I start matching the beat. I start tapping my legs and like going with the beat. And it's going slow at first. And then it starts to pick up. So I'm trying to like follow it. I'm trying to pick up with it. And then it gets faster and faster. So I'm trying to go. And then it starts changing pace. So not changing pace, like changing the, what do you call that? Frequency beat. Like instead of going, it's going like, so I'm trying to match this new tune. I'm trying to like work with it. I'm breathing. Like I'm feeling like kind of giddy. I'm like, oh, this is fun. This is new. At some point there's a melody I feel like I have to sing with it. So I start like matching that tune as I'm like matching the beat. And then it gets to a point where I mess the beat up. So I'm like, shit. And so then I stop. And I remember I'm about to be late for work. I'm supposed to be doing something completely different. This is not the time for this. But so I stop, and before I leave and like get ready with the rest of my morning, doing all like my morning stuff for work, I try to tune back into that space because I was like, well, let me see if that actually did anything. Because I'm sitting there, my eyes are open now. I'm done doing like the tapping and the singing. But I still kind of feel giddy, but I feel like tingly almost, like a little, like buzzed, kind of like I feel a little buzzed. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, let me tune back into the energy, and I do. And now instead of just a really black space, I see these like 3 pillars of light, beaming out from whatever the surface was that I was standing on. And then I saw these like white cracks breaking out from these different pillars. And so I was like, oh, did that actually, that might have did it. Like that might have like initiated the beginning of this process and opened something up. And so I'm like, okay, cool, feeling good about it. Now later on in the day, after this, I'm in my work routine, I'm doing moves and stuff. The giddy feeling long subsided. I'm at work going through some like a little frictions here and there. Usually I can push through. Usually I'm like, I hate my job, but I can just put my head down, push through it, get paid, go home. Wednesday was just so unbearable. It felt grating in my soul on a way that it hasn't in a very long time. Like back when I was like really unhealed first doing this job, it kind of felt like that. And so I was like, this is new. I haven't felt like that in a long time. I was like, I feel like I have to get out of here. I want to go home. And then I try to like think and sit with that feeling, just think for a moment. And I realized I didn't really want to go home. That wasn't true. I wanted to go to the park. And I felt such like a huge need that I needed to like just go and touch grass. Like, but literally, like I felt like I literally needed to go and just touch some grass, hug some trees. I just had to be in nature. I felt this overwhelming desire where I wanted to go and just be in the grass. Fortunately for me, my job out of nowhere is like, hey, we got a new guy that's coming in and we only have the one truck because the other truck is down. Would you want to go home early at 12, which is 6 hours earlier than I usually do? And so I was like, hell yeah, let me get out of here, please. But I'm like, well, I asked first. I'm like, let me talk to my wife and then I'll give you an answer. So I talked to her and I tell her what's going on. And then I'm like, all right, cool. So I called them back and I'm like, I'm out. So I leave. We get to the park and I'm like, socks off, my feet are in the grass. And that is not really me at all usually. Every once in a while, I might go barefoot in like an area that I think is clean and that's like easily accessible for me. Cause I have this fear that standing barefoot in grass is gonna give me like worms or something. Cause that's what my parents always told me. Like, don't go in the backyard with your socks off because like, you're gonna get parasites and stuff. So I never do that. But for me, I was like, nah, I gotta be skin contact on the ground on some like earth. And since then, I have been feeling like this need to just be touching nature, like hugging trees, being in the grass, like at all times. So that's been interesting. So yeah, there you have it. That was the beginning of this path for me. That was my first session and the effects of it so far. As different things change and as I notice different things happening, I will continue to make more videos. And as I continue to go down this process, I will let you know what I am doing.